Welcome to CSL TV, and I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, as well as informational channel. Hopefully the informational part help you and someone out. And we just gonna watch some videos, talk about them, see what's going on in today's world news type shit. But as we've been watching lately, a lot of stuff been going on like always, and it's not apparently the good stuff. So I don't want to make this intro too long. Oh, before I end this, I just gotta say thank you to the people that's been rocking with me, because you could be somewhere else trying to watch this. Yeah, you're here with CSL TV watching these videos. So, you know, I was about to say, with that being said, I don't want to make this intro too long. So, let's get it.
What do you need police for?
They just got picked me up somewhere in the hospital.
Who's they?
Me around.
Who are you talking about?
I'm within the vicinity of being heard. Do you understand what that means?
Okay, well, if I can't hear you, how am I meant to help you?
Trust me, you want to get to this address.
Okay, and you need to tell me what we're going to the address for.
They wanted people.
Who are the people?
James Potter or Mendez or whatever his name is.
Sorry, what's his name, James what?
Potter or Mendez. I don't know if he's going to get me bashed. He may not.
Okay, well, you need to tell me what you want me to send police there for, please.
Because he's wanted.
For what?
Dangerous. There's warrants out for his arrest. Are you for real?
For what?
Are you
I'm not a police member.
I don't know.
Stop yelling at me.
Know.
Then how do you know that there's warrants?
Oh my God.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to do my job.
Please.
Okay, if you want to speak to them, you'll have to call them directly. Do you want me to send police or not?
Yes.
Okay, then you need to answer my question.
I'm hiding in a bush answering your question.
Why are you hiding in a bush?
Oh my God.
Why are you hiding in a bush?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, what?
Please, violent offenders.
What are you hiding in a bush for?
Because I'm ringing the police. I'm three violent offenders.
How do you know these three violent people?
So as you guys know, this is a 999 call because this is over in another country. But at the same time, if she's hiding in a bush, how come she sound like she arguing and getting loud and irate with the 999 caller? You know what I'm saying? 999 is the same thing as 911. But I'ma shut up so we can hear this video and see how this thing gonna play out, since she is with three violent, people.
A friend of mine that's not really a friend, a capable lady.
What is your name, please?
Penny Pratt. What is your name, please?
I'm call taker number 2. What is your contact telephone number, please?
What?
Call taker number 2. So why are these three people violent? What have they done?
Oh my God.
Can you stop saying, oh my God, Penny?
Business.
Okay, well, it is my business if you want me to send police, but you can either answer questions or you don't. Penny, then.
27-year-old Pratt had been hiding from two men in a small Boronia suburb in Australia for quite a while before her luck ran out. According to further investigation, the men were after her due to an alleged debt to the tune of about $160. They were later identified as John Potter and Aaron Gibson. The victim had a troubled childhood. She battled with learning disabilities, and once she started high school, she began experimenting with hardcore drugs like. As an adult, Pratt had two young children who she did not have custody of when she was murdered. After her father died in 2009, she was left over 100,000 Australian dollars, but instead of using it to catapult a new life, Pratt spent the money irresponsibly, and it was eventually wasted away. A year later, her partner died, which led her to spending time with James Potter and Aaron Gibson, who often took. In November of that same year, she called 000 and was placed in the psychiatric ward and could leave whenever she was ready. Potter and Gibson went looking for Pratt, and when they couldn't find her at home, they were told she was at the hospital. It was almost 11 p.m. and the men went to see her, but the receptionist would not let them in. This made Potter furious. He began swearing and was forceful with a security guard called to calm him down. He then lied to the guard and said Pratt was his sister and had clothes for her. Security then called Pratt and put her on the phone with Potter. She made the fatal mistake of leaving the hospital with the men when Potter told her he had some money to give her. The trio drove to Potter's girlfriend's house in Boronia, but the 27-year-old quickly left. Shortly after, 000 received a call from Pratt in which she told the operator she had been picked up from the hospital by people driving and said she wanted to go back as she would cop a beating. The dispatcher tried to find her location, but the caller repeatedly said she just wanted her money before eventually hanging up on the operator. 10 minutes later, Pratt called again, the final call they would receive from her. In a bid to save herself from imminent danger, Pratt had been trying to describe her location to the emergency operator. However, she couldn't as the dispatcher ended the call while she was still talking, which ultimately led to her brutal death. It's alleged that she began fighting with Gibson outside not long after, and Krellekamp instructed them to take it indoors. The feud continued, with Pratt demanding her money. At some point, Gibson violently grabbed the victim's hair, pointed a .22 caliber sawn-off rifle at her face, and shot her in the jaw. The coroner's report said Gibson told Potter to finish the job. He got a large kitchen knife, stabbed her in the heart several times, and cut her. Pratt's body was found 3 weeks after the murder in the Dandenong Ranges National Park, Olinda. Police were only able to get to the bottom of the case after an alleged accomplice, 48-year-old Adrian Krellekamp, wrote and handed over a 15-page statement to the authorities, implicating the other accomplices. Krellekamp stated that although he didn't have a hand in the murder, he had helped the killers, 24-year-old Potter and 31-year-old Gibson, hide Pratt's body in his car. Together, the three drove to a bushland where they dumped the body. Krellekamp was later charged with being an accomplice to murder and possessing. He was, however, released on bail after the role he played in bringing the killers to book was duly considered. It seemed like justice was served since Pratt's murderers were eventually caught and sent to prison. However, outside the courthouse, the victim's aunt, Susan Clear, said she wished the killers had been given the death penalty instead since they had also taken her niece's life.
Man, that shit was crazy. She had these people she was hanging around with trying to kill her over some dumbass shit. Money. Wayne got this woman out the hospital. She already had a tough life. Being fucking around, started experiencing drugs in high school. Had kids, family. Didn't have her kids, but she had some money. And then y'all already know how that shit play out. So now, you got these guys who out here trying to go to the hospital, and they did eventually got her out the hospital. Just for the simple fact they knew what would lure her out. And then this crazy thing happened where they took her to the woods. Y'all know what happened, man. So if y'all know someone who's going through it or ain't all the way there, it ain't nothing wrong with doing a little welfare check on them. Just to make sure they good, you know what I'm saying? Make sure they're around the right people because shit like this can happen. I don't understand why, you know, the kid's father didn't check up on her just to make sure she good. But, you know, the world we live in, a lot of people turn the other way and wish bad upon you.
He's got a gun, he's shooting at us. All units, all units.
This story out of California is intense, and we have to warn you, the footage is hard to watch. It all went down in San Luis Obispo, where a string of burglaries at local businesses had been reported to the police. This surveillance video captures two back-to-back break-ins carried out by a masked man driving the same car, pictured without a license plate. 2 days after those break-ins, two more burglaries get reported, again carried out by the person spotted in the same car. Police say the owners of one of the burglarized businesses recognized the car as belonging to one of their former employees, and when police went to that man's apartment, they found the vehicle used in the burglaries in the parking lot and even spotted some of the stolen stuff inside the car. A judge soon authorized a search warrant, and police say they repeatedly tried to enter the apartment after multiple phone calls and knocks on the door.
Police department, search warrant, open the door, we're gonna force entry.
With no answer from inside,
Edward, it's the police department, open the door.
officers then resort to a battering ram to knock down the door. This is where things go south. Again, this footage is disturbing. From outside, officers continue to try to engage with the man in the apartment.
Edward, come out here.
And a moment later, an officer is shot. This officer retreats as he calls in what just went down.
Shots fired, shots fired.
As more gunshots go off at the residence.
He's got a gun, he's shooting at us. All units, all units.
At this point, a total of 2 officers had been shot, and the man in the apartment then takes a rifle from one of the officers he had fired upon. This officer then grabs a rifle from his vehicle, and when he spots the gunman aim his weapon in his direction, the officer opens fire. The officer then falls back to a safer position and soon joins another cop, where we hear what happened to one of the struck officers.
Are you okay, Steve?
Hit in the head and arm.
A cop asks the officer with the rifle if he shot the gunman.
You good?
I think so. He came out, he pointed his gun at me.
Moments later, another gunshot is heard, which turns out to be the moment that the 35-year-old gunman shot himself in the head.